How do you feel about him when he talks about this?
I appreciate him being able to be emotional and, open up. And that's what I've appreciated this whole time is he is an open book. There's not really anything he won't talk about. So, yeah, it all gives context or helps me piece together more of who he is.
What do you think have been the most important things that you've had to struggle with in your background?
So, when I was about 10 is when my parents first separated. And they legally got divorced when I was like 17, I believe. So it was kind of like, a lot of back and forth. And
it's a tough age to have parents separate. What did you think at the time? Or were you angry or scared or?
Yeah, scared for sure. Definitely.
A lot of kids will often think like, how could he leave me? Did you and or your sister have those kinds of thoughts?
Yeah, I think I kind of went into probably more like a protector role or like
for your sisters.
Yeah.
You know what therapists would call that?
What?
They would call you a parentified child. You have to be older than you are. You have to be a caretaker that should have been in the parental role, but they couldn't do it, and so you did it. It seems to touch something, which is noble, by the way. I know it hurts. Lost a little bit of your childhood there. But you stepped in to try and make sure everybody else was okay, and maybe that's why you didn't have the luxury of thinking about, am I okay?
Yeah, I think it shaped me, but it's hard to blame them.
I don't think any blame is appropriate. They're doing the best they can too,
exactly.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the good thing is both of you have still had a lot of love in your family backgrounds, and it shows in you, actually, your capacities. But these are things to talk about and to share with one another like you do, because you do now have someone who has your back. You've both been very tender with each other when you see the other person upset.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's another level that you all have reached together, which is really, really nice to see.
I feel like through this whole process, I've cried way more than her. That was the first time I've seen her cry. That makes me feel better too, because that was a side of her I've never seen. I actually want to see more of the vulnerable side of her. We both are people who have struggled with that, and it's not easy for me, but I think I'm starting to see more and more of that. I just want to continue to see more pieces of vulnerability.
I am 100% aware that tapping into my emotions or soft side is a tough thing for me.
Well, I think one of the exercises we give you is we ask you to write a letter to your younger self in a particularly difficult time. Mm-hmm. So you're going to show a vulnerable part of yourselves because you're looking into your own personal history. Mm-hmm. You're both grown-ups, and that means by this time you've had to be strong. Mm-hmm. You've had to take care of your siblings, or you've had to trace down your, who you are in a very complex family structure. You've had to find a way to survive financially. You've had to get educated. There's a lot of you've had to do's. Mm-hmm. And so now you have to melt a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Right, yeah.
To trust the other person enough so that doesn't scare them.